on pavement. The high-banked Talladega Speedway. In a secret test, Bobby Unser makes an attempt at a world closed course speed record in a specially prepared Quattro. Despite the aerodynamic disadvantage of the boxy four-door sedan, he breaks 200 miles per hour and sets 10 new international speed records. Confident that they had an advantage here as well, the engineers decide to enter a production-based Quattro in the 1988 Sports Car Club of America Trans Am Series. It was also the first time that team drivers Hurley Haywood and Hans Stuck had tried racing an all-wheel drive machine.
My competitors found that we were going to be racing an Audi, and they took a look at the car the first time. They kind of laughed and said, "You got to be kidding. This is a car that we race that looks very much like the sedan that people can buy in the showrooms."
Everything was new to me, and I thought to myself, oh, is that the right thing I might have towards the end of my career with 37? Nevertheless, we didn't know where we are till we came to the first practice in Long Beach.
The first race, the streets of Long Beach. Let's ride with Hans Stuck as he makes his qualifying run. The five-cylinder turbocharged Quattro is no match for the more powerful V8s on the straightaways. Its advantage comes in the tight turns.
I had to adjust my style of driving, because Trans Am drivers are hard drivers, tough drivers. They don't look very often in the mirror. If you come from behind, especially with a car like the Audi, you can brake very late, that they don't expect you to come so close, to brake so late.
By the way, was good for fourth starting position. In the race, Haywood surprises everyone with a second-place finish. Still, most experts regarded this as beginner's luck. Then on the twisty Dallas street circuit, as track conditions begin to deteriorate, and others were slipping and sliding, Haywood uses his superior traction to record the first victory for an all-wheel drive system in such a major production car race.
The track was very slippery during the race, and I just cruised around the car because of the all-wheel drive system. I could put it any place on the racetrack and get away with doing just about anything that if you tried it in a conventional car, you would have crashed.
He follows with another victory on the streets of Detroit, taking the lead on the very last lap. Then at Niagara Falls, rally champion Walter Rural tries his hand at road racing and runs away from the field, making it 3 victories in the first 5 races. Meanwhile, Hans Stuck, one of the fastest men in the world in a rear-wheel drive race car, was still struggling to come to grips with the all-wheel drive system.
Sooner or later, I thought I have to win a race. Audi is paying me a lot of money, so I look like a fool. I got to win a race now.
Suddenly, he figured it all out and went on a tear. First place Cleveland. First place Brainerd. A victory at the Meadowlands. His secret?
It's a left foot braking. You have this turbo lag, you know. When you go off the throttle and you go back on again, it takes a little while before the turbine builds up some pressure. So on these sort of chicanes where you don't have to shift down, I go on the brake with the left foot and stay on the throttle with the right foot. So I still have my boost pressure. And then when I leave the brake off, the car moves forward like a skyrocket. That's what it's all about.
Mid-Ohio. Rain. Ideal conditions for all-wheel drive.
And Sunday morning when I got up at about 7 o'clock, I saw the rain and said, oh, Christ, that's what we need.
With the others struggling to just stay on the rain-slicked track, Stuck enjoys a Sunday drive.
It just has always the feet on the ground, fantastic traction, fantastic cornering, very, very good. And with the four-wheeler, you know, it was the experience of all my life. We always had good traction. We could go over the hill with all the cars sliding with the power on. So just great fun.
By now, the competition was beginning to feel that the Quattros were enjoying a bit too much of an advantage. They accused the team of sandbagging, holding back in practice, not showing their true speed, then turning it on late in the race. The other teams lobby for a rule change.
We need all the help we can get to keep our Goodyear tires under our cars. We don't have the advantage of the all-wheel drive Audis.
We can't go head-to-head with the Audi or the V6s because of our added weight.
There's no way that we can run at the end of the race with the Audis. I expect Hans to show us his heels here very soon.
The Sports Car Club of America officials agree and decide something must be done to negate the all-wheel drive advantage. They handicap the Quattros with additional weight, smaller tires, and a reduced turbo inlet. But Stuck isn't phased.
To beat Audi, they can give us as many weight as they want, and they can restrict our tires. As long as we can run on a four-wheel drive car, we'll be looking very good.
Even with the handicaps, the Quattros prevailed, and by season's end, Audi had won the Manufacturers' Championship, and the hard-charging Stuck captured 4 first places. His strategy?
My driving strategy is to go always 100%, or as close as possible. If I sit in a race car, I adjust my mind and I want to go for it. Oh, sometimes it's bad, sometimes it's good, but if I'm as a professional racing driver, you have to be like this.
It was the steady Haywood, however, who brought home the driver's title. His strategy was a bit different.
Championships are points game, and you have to get the points in each race. You have to protect your trouble with the slower traffic. And I found that it was very beneficial for me to make my move in the latter part of the race, protect my car, keep it in good condition, and then make a charge in the latter part of the stages. My 2 teammates, Hans and Walter, would do the charging for me, and then in many cases they wore the competition out.
But to Trans Am officials, the Quattros' advantage seemed just a little too unfair. They aren't invited back for next year. Coming up next, the IMSA GTO. In 1989, the Quattros enter the IMSA GTO Championship Series, where the rules are different. The cars are allowed wider tires, wide enough so that the others may have all the traction they need with just two-wheel drive. IMSA officials feel confident the all-wheel drive Audis won't enjoy an unfair advantage here. But the Audi engineers have no intention of giving up their edge and build a pair of exotic tube-frame cars complete with a space-age telemetry system to monitor every aspect of their performance.
We were all pretty much excited because, as you know, we have had a new car, a tube-frame chassis, a new engine, a 4-valve engine, and then in the first official practice session when we were almost holding off the pace, and we were right there. You could hear the stones falling down from our heart. We were happy and pleased that the car is right with the pace.
They debut on the streets of Miami. Despite strong competition from other high-tech factory teams, the all-wheel drive Quattros again appear to have the upper hand, impressing veteran ESPN commentator Bill Adam in the process.
This car is doing things I have never, ever seen any vehicle do. Look at this. Pulls to the inside, late braking. Look at the car. Completely stable under braking. No problem at all. On a rail.
But racing luck turns against the team. Both cars are forced out of the race. The team must regroup.
We didn't finish Miami because our gearbox broke. We found that we had too much horsepower for our gearbox and drive shafts. And then I must say, from Miami to the next race, to Summit Point, There was only about 9 weeks in between, but what the Audi crew was able to achieve in these 9 weeks was the maximum I've ever seen in my 20 years of racing. They were working so bloody hard, day and night. I doubted actually when I came to Summit Point, we're going to run longer than 1 hour.
Summit Point. The Quattros not only run for an hour, they go the distance, finishing first and second.
It was a tough competition. I was very, very pleased to win the second race for the Audi in '89. After Summit Point, we went straight to Mid-Ohio, believe it or not, another win, which was a little bit of a problem with my friend Wally Dallenbach, because I had him off the track, which I do very, very a few times in my life, in my whole racing career. But I had to. We were actually traveling both along side by side, and I saw a small car almost stopping on the left side of the track, and I had to move to the right, and I just knocked Wally off. And I saw him spinning on 120 mile speed and banging right and left. I said, oh, Jesus Christ, what have I done now? And I was lucky to win the race in the end, and on the podium I apologized immediately to Wally. But I think still up to now he owes me one.
But Stuck has things pretty much his own way, running up a string of victories at Topeka, Sears Point, Watkins Glen, Lime Rock, and Laguna Seca. And in some races, like Sears Point, his toughest competition turned out to be his all-wheel drive teammate, Hurley Haywood.
I was something like 30 seconds behind my leading teammate Hurley Haywood, and believe me, I had to take all the tricks I knew to get him back, and I got him 2 laps from the end in a very strong maneuver.
By now, Stuck had clearly become comfortable with the car, adjusting his own flamboyant driving style to the all-wheel drive system.
To adopt my driving style to all-wheel drive suspension in cars was not so easy, because my style always was a little bit spectacular, like going sideways, and people saying he has more flies and bugs on the doors than he has on the windscreen by driving so much sideways. And it also helped me in my sports car driving. I got smoother and more, not so aggressive and not so how can I say, not so a twitchy driving style, and improved everything. It teaches you to drive a car smoother.
His secret of speed?
I tell you got to have a sensor in a certain place of your body which is behind yourself. You know what I mean? And this sensor which you must have in the popo, as we say in Germany, I think this is the most important thing. To go fast, to feel the car sliding. That's why I have no upholstery in my driving seat. If you ever check this out, I only have a little layer of some cotton or whatever it is, so it's a Nomex stuff. I don't want to have some upholstery in the seat because I have not enough contact then. This is, I think, so you must feel it with your back when the car starts to slide and everything. And this sensor is specially working under wet conditions.
Wet conditions. Rain. Conditions that can strike fear into the bravest of drivers. Quattro drivers Stuck and Haywood took a somewhat different view.
It is the nicest feeling. It is nicer than Christmas, holiday, birthday, and New Year, everything together, to pass a Cougar or a Nissan on the outside of the corner. It's such a great feeling, you won't believe.
It's so much fun driving these cars, and when you can pass guys on the outside or the inside, it really doesn't make any difference, and go by them with such speed that we have. It's tremendous fun.
Next. After a decade of competition, all-wheel drive had, without a doubt, proven itself to be an unfair advantage under all conditions, outrunning the through the tight, twisty streets of Dallas and around the high-speed curves of Laguna Seca. Yet on any given day, the Quattros rarely excelled at raw speed. Their secret was different. Others were able to go out and set a blistering pace in the beginning. The tracks usually get slippery as the race progresses. Tires lose their grip. And when conventional cars were forced to slow down, the Quattros, with their consistently superior traction, went on the going got slippery. This proved to be their unfair advantage, their secret of speed.
People can go fast in a race car for one lap, and they can beat the race car and use the curbs and bounce off of things. And as they wear themselves down, I just simply attack. And you can do it so easily and so effortlessly, and they just don't know what hit them.
And we could spray our power over 4 different corners, you know. So our tires in the end lasted longer, and when the conditions got worse with oil and grease and some debris on the track, we had a better traction on our car. This gave us an